It's 11:30 at night. The house is quiet, everyone's asleep, but you're not. You're lying in bed, staring at your phone, and you open your banking app. You scroll through the transactions. You do the math twice, your chest tightens. There's a knot in your stomach that wasn't there 10 minutes ago. And then, almost automatically, you switch apps. You open Amazon or DoorDash or some online store you visited 100 times, and you buy something. Not because you need it, not because you even really want it. You buy it because for 3 seconds, that tiny dopamine hit makes the knot in your stomach go away, and then it comes back. Worse than before, because now you have less money than you did 5 minutes ago. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone, and you are not broken. According to a Northwestern Mutual survey, 69% of Americans say financial uncertainty is directly causing them anxiety and depression. That is not a small group, that is most of us. And the American Academy of Sleep Medicine found that 78% of Americans are literally losing sleep over money, not figuratively, actually lying awake at 2 a.m. doing mental math. But here's the contradiction that nobody talks about. The people losing the most sleep over money are the same people making the worst financial decisions the next day. Not because they're stupid, not because they don't care, but because their brain is physically working against them. And there's a specific named scientifically documented reason for that. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what it is, how it works, and most importantly, how to break out of it. My name is Felix, and I create easy-to-understand animated videos about personal finance. If that sounds like something that interests you, consider subscribing. Now let's talk about what's really going on inside your brain when you're stressed about money, because it has a name. Researchers call it the survival mode trap. So, it has a name. Researchers call it the survival mode trap. Here's how it works. When you experience financial stress, whether that's checking your bank account and seeing a number that scares you, or getting a bill you weren't expecting, or just that low-grade hum of anxiety that never seems to go away, your brain does something very specific. Your amygdala, the part of your brain designed to keep you alive, fires up. It floods your body with cortisol, the stress hormone. And here's the critical part. When cortisol levels spike, it actually suppresses your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, long-term planning, and impulse control. Let me put this differently. The part of your brain that helps you make smart decisions with money literally goes offline when you're stressed about money. It's like trying to read a map while someone is shaking you. The information is right there, but your brain can't process it because it's too busy panicking. And this isn't some vague theory. This is hard science, and the research behind it will change how you think about money forever. In 2013, Harvard economist Sendhil Mullainathan and Princeton psychologist Eldar Shafir published a groundbreaking study in the journal Science. They wanted to know what happens to your brain when you're worried about money. So they ran 2 experiments. First, they went to a mall in New Jersey and asked shoppers to solve cognitive puzzles. But before the puzzles, they gave each person a hypothetical financial scenario. Some got easy scenarios, like a $150 car repair. Others got hard ones, like a $1,500 car repair. Here's what they found. When wealthier shoppers heard the $1,500 scenario, their test performance didn't change at all. Your test performance didn't change at all. But when lower-income shoppers heard the same $1,500 scenario, their cognitive performance dropped by the equivalent of 13 IQ points. Let me say that again. Just thinking about a financial problem they couldn't easily solve made people perform as if they had lost 13 IQ points. That's the same cognitive hit as pulling an all-nighter with 0 sleep. Not from drugs, not from a head injury, from worry. But Mullainathan and Shafir didn't stop there. They went to India and studied sugarcane farmers. These farmers get paid once a year after the harvest. So they're poor before the harvest and relatively flush after it. Same people, same brains, same education. Before the harvest, when money was tight, the farmers performed significantly worse on cognitive tests. After the harvest, when money pressure lifted, their cognitive performance bounced right back. Same brain, different financial pressure, completely different level of intelligence. They called this the bandwidth tax. Financial stress doesn't just make you feel bad. It literally taxes your brain's ability to think clearly, plan ahead, and make rational decisions. And it's not a small tax. It's a 13-point IQ penalty that you're paying every single day you're stressed about money, and you don't even know it. Now, here's where the math gets really interesting, and by interesting, I mean absolutely terrifying. Let me show you what the survival mode trap actually costs in real dollars. Because this isn't just about feelings. This is about money being drained out of your life, month after month, by a brain that's trying to protect you but is actually destroying you. Let's start with the most obvious cost. Emotional spending. The average American spends $282 per month on impulse purchases. That's $3,384 per year on things you didn't plan to buy, didn't budget for, and in most cases don't even remember buying 2 weeks later. And here's the part that should make you angry. 63% of Americans admit their emotions directly drive their purchases. Not logic. Not need. Emotion. Your stressed out brain is literally reaching for your credit card as a painkiller. But it gets worse. That $282 per month? If you invested it instead at a 7% annual return, here's what happens. After 10 years, that's roughly $49,000. After 20 years, it's approximately $139,000. And after 30 years, that $282 per month in emotional spending becomes $346,000 in lost wealth, $346,000. Gone. Not spent on a house, not spent on your kids' education, spent on things your stressed brain convinced you that you needed at 11:30 at night to make the anxiety go away for 3 seconds. If someone told you they were lighting $346,000 on fire over their lifetime, you'd probably stage an intervention. But because it happens $14 at a time on Amazon, we just call it treating yourself. Now you might be thinking, okay, Felix, but $282 a month doesn't sound that bad. I can handle that. And that is exactly what the survival mode trap wants you to think. Because impulse spending is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's do the full cascade. Let's look at what financial stress actually costs the average American household every single month. Take a household earning the median income of about $83,000 a year. That sounds solid, right? Let's watch what happens. $83,000 gross income. After federal and state taxes, FICA, you're looking at roughly $5,400 per month in take-home pay. Housing takes $2,100. You're at $3,300. Transportation, car payment, insurance, gas, that's $1,100. You're at $2,200. Groceries, $520. You're at $1,680. Health insurance, $400. You're at $1,280. Utilities, phone, internet, $350. You're at $930. $930. That is all you have left. And we haven't touched student loans, childcare, subscriptions, or that $282 in impulse spending your stressed brain demands every month. So let's keep going. Streaming services and subscriptions you forgot you're paying for. The average American spends $91 per month on subscriptions, with $17 of that going to services they don't even use. That's $930 minus $91. You're at $839. Now subtract that $282 in emotional spending. You're at $557. $557 for everything else. Clothing, haircuts, birthday gifts, car repairs, dental work, your kids' school supplies, date nights, literally everything that makes life worth living. And I haven't even gotten to the worst part yet. Because when you're this tight, when you're living on $557 of breathing room, one unexpected expense doesn't just hurt, it starts a spiral. Month 1, you make it work. It's tight, but you squeeze by. Month 2, your car needs new tires. That's $600. You don't have $600 in a savings account because 37% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency with cash. So you put it on a credit card. Month 3, you're now paying a credit card minimum on top of everything else. The average credit card interest rate is over 20%. That $600 in tires is going to cost you $750 by the time you pay it off. Month 4, your kid needs a dental filling. Another $200 you don't have. Back to the credit card. Month 6, you realize you now have $1,000 in credit card debt growing at 20% interest. Your monthly minimum payments are eating into that $557. Month 8, you're not sleeping. You're checking your bank account at midnight. You're buying things online to cope. The spiral is now feeding itself. And this is what the total credit card picture looks like. The average American is now carrying $6,715 in credit card debt at 20% interest. The total credit card debt in America just hit $1.28 trillion. That's not a typo. Trillion with a T. This isn't your fault. This is what the system does when you don't have enough margin. Your brain shifts into survival mode. Survival mode kills your ability to think long-term. Short-term thinking leads to emotional spending, missed payments, and high-interest debt. High-interest debt tightens your margin even further, and tighter margins put your brain deeper into survival mode. It's a financial hamster wheel, and the faster you run, the further behind you get. Here's the thing, most financial advice gets completely wrong. They tell you to just budget better, to cut out the lattes, to use willpower. And this might sound like some self-help nonsense. But stick with me because this is where things get really practical. Willpower is not the answer, and here's the science to prove it. Social psychologist Roy Baumeister's research on ego depletion found that willpower is a finite resource. You only have so much of it each day. Every decision you make, from what to eat for breakfast to whether you can afford to buy your kid new shoes, drains from the same pool. Research estimates we make roughly 35,000 decisions every single day. Now think about what happens when you're financially stressed. Every single purchase becomes a decision. Do I need this? Can I afford this? Should I wait? What if something comes up? Someone with $20,000 in savings buys toothpaste without thinking. Someone with $200 in their account turns that same toothpaste purchase into a 5-minute mental negotiation. By the time your financially stressed brain gets to 8 p.m., your willpower tank is empty. And that is exactly when the late-night Amazon scrolling starts. That's when DoorDash gets opened because you're too mentally exhausted to cook. That's when the survival mode spending kicks in. Telling a financially stressed person to just use willpower is like telling someone who just ran a marathon to just sprint the last mile. The fuel is gone, the tank is empty, and the system knows it. But here's what this actually means for your life, right now, today. It means the guilt you feel after an impulse purchase is not a character flaw. It's a symptom. It means the anxiety you feel when you check your bank account is not weakness. It's your brain's survival system misfiring. It means the inability to save money despite knowing you should is not laziness. It's a cognitive tax you're paying because the system never gave you enough breathing room. Here's what that actually feels like day to day. It feels like checking your bank account before buying groceries. It feels like doing the math in your head at the gas pump and stopping at $30 even though the tank isn't full. It feels like saying "we'll see" to your kid when they ask about summer camp because you can't bring yourself to say "we can't afford it." It feels like lying awake at 2 a.m. recalculating whether you can pay rent and the vest. Electric bill in the same week. It feels like being one unexpected car repair away from absolute disaster every single month. Sound familiar? Good, because now you know it has a name. And anything with a name can be defeated. Here's how to break out of the survival mode trap. And I'm not going to give you vague advice. I'm going to give you specific numbers, specific actions, and a specific timeline. Step 1. Build a cortisol buffer this week. I'm not talking about a full emergency fund. I'm talking about getting $500 in cash in a separate savings account that you do not touch. That's it. $500, not $10,000. Not 6 months of expenses. $500. Here's why. Research shows that just having a small financial cushion reduces cortisol levels enough to partially restore your prefrontal cortex function. You don't need a fortune. You need enough to stop the panic response, sell something, pick up one extra shift, cancel 3 subscriptions you forgot you were paying for. That $17 a month in unused services is a good start. Whatever it takes, get to $500 this week. Step 2. Automate the escape. This month, set up an automatic transfer of $50 per month into that separate savings account. I don't care if it feels like nothing. Here's the math. $50 per month is $600 per year. At 7% returns, invested consistently, that's $24,000 in 20 years, But more importantly, automation bypasses your willpower entirely. You can't emotionally spend money that's already been moved before you wake up. Roy Baumeister's own research confirms this. The most effective strategy isn't more willpower. It's designing systems that don't require willpower at all. Step 3. Install the 7-2-hour rule, starting now. Every non-essential purchase over $30 gets a 72-hour waiting period. You see it, you want it, you put it in your cart, and you wait 72 hours. Studies consistently show that 70% of impulse purchases are abandoned when a waiting period is introduced. Your stressed brain is designed to demand instant relief. The 72-hour rule starves the survival mode trap of its fuel. If you still want it after 3 days, buy it guilt-free. Most of the time, you won't. Step 4. Delete the triggers. This quarter, unsubscribe from every promotional email. Delete shopping apps from your phone, Amazon, She, whatever your weakness is. Turn off push notifications from every store. Here's why this matters. 48% of social media users admit to making impulse purchases directly from seeing a product online. The average American spends $754 per year on impulse buys influenced by social media alone. You are being targeted by algorithms designed to exploit your stressed brain at its weakest moment. Removing the trigger is infinitely more effective than trying to resist it. Step 5. Name the moment. Every time. When you feel the urge to stress spend, say out loud, "This is the survival mode trap." Naming the mechanism breaks the autopilot. Financial psychologist Dr. Brad Klontz, who pioneered research on childhood money scripts, found that simply becoming aware of why you're reaching for your wallet reduces impulsive financial behavior. You're not banning yourself from spending. You're interrupting the unconscious loop. Awareness is the first crack in the trap. Now let me put all of this together in real numbers. If you follow these 5 steps, here's what changes. That $282 per month in impulse spending, even cutting it in half, down to $141, saves you $1,092 per year. Add the $17 per month in canceled unused subscriptions. That's another $204 per year. Combined with your new $50 per month auto savings, you're now redirecting $2,496 per year away from the survival mode trap and into your future. At 7% returns over 20 years, that $2,496 per year becomes more than $100,000, $100,000, not from a raise, not from a better job, not from some side hustle, from simply understanding what your own brain was doing to you and installing 5 guardrails to stop it. Remember that person at the beginning of the video? Lying in bed at 11:30, staring at their phone, heart pounding, trying to decide between checking their bank account and buying something to make the anxiety stop? That person is not weak. That person's brain is running survival software that was designed by evolution to escape lions, not to navigate a $1.28 trillion credit card economy. Now you know what's happening inside your head. Now you know it has a name. Now you know the exact dollar amount it's costing you. And now you have 5 specific tools to fight back. The survival mode trap only works when you don't know it exists. Now you do, and that changes everything. If this video opened your eyes in any way, subscribe and share it with someone you care about. Because odds are, they're lying awake right now doing the same midnight math, and they have no idea why.